Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy to be here with y'all today. As you can tell by the title, we're talking about how I overcame my fear of being seen and how overcoming a fear of being seen is a direct correlation towards increasing your confidence. I can look back and recognize when I absolutely did not want to be seen by the world, by friends, by family, by myself. I think it's important to note that a lot of times people talk about this fear of being seen by the public when before you can even overcome your fear of being seen by the public, you actually have to overcome your fear of being seen by yourself. And so that was a really big thing for me. But when I struggled with being seen, I also was severely unconfident, insecure. I don't really know the opposite of like not being confident. I guess that's like insecure. But anyways, really irrelevant right now. But when I struggled with being confident, or when I struggled with being seen, I just also wasn't confident at all in my capabilities and my speech and the way I looked and the way I walked into rooms and all of those things. And so the more I started to recognize, I actually just don't want people to see me. I don't want people to see what I'm doing. I don't want people to know my capabilities. I don't even want to know my capabilities because, oh my gosh, what if I do something wrong? It was like, girl, chill out now. It's not even that serious. Like it is, but it isn't. So how do you actually overcome the fear of being seen? First of all, let's start off with like the fear of being seen looks like. Being seen is basically the lack of self-expression. Being seen is the lack of self-expression. When you have a fear of being seen, you are holding back on expressing yourself in fullness. Whether it's in fullness in the workplace, whether it's in fullness in your friend group, in fullness with your family, in fullness in the confines of your own home with yourself, by yourself, whatever it is, your fullness of style, your fullness of expression of emotion and feeling and thought and opinion, all of that. That is how the fear of seeing shows up. There's a lack of fullness of expression. For me, the fear of being seen really looked like me being very shy. Being shy, being timid, not wanting to speak up, not wanting to share my opinion. And I told someone this the other day, I'm a very opinionated person. But 5 years ago, you would have never known that. I was so very much agreeable and so very much like, let me just stay quiet. Not only that, I'm not a shy person, but if you knew me at 21, you would have thought I was really shy. If you knew me at 16, you would have thought I was really shy. If you knew me even at like 26, you would have thought I was really shy. And I'm none of those things. And so for me, the fear of being seen really looked like just scaling back and really holding back from who I was authentically as a person. One, because I didn't actually know who I was. And two, because I had also had so much conditioning on, she's shy. She's not speaking up. She's not sharing. So she must be this, she must be that. And that came in childhood. And so there was a lot of conditioning around, maybe I am shy. Maybe I don't have an opinion to share. Maybe I'm not smart. Maybe I don't know enough. Like things like that. So that's what it looked like for your girl. I really overcame that by starting to identify specifically when I wanted to share an opinion and would hold back. Actually, I meant to put this on first, y'all. I've been doing the blush on the bottom first, and I really like how it turns out. So hopefully, like, it still does right, because I totally messed up that step. So yeah, I started with recognizing when I would want to share an opinion, and I would be like, no, I'm not going to share. No, I'm not going to ask. No, I'm not going to say that. And I had to have this internal dialogue with myself of like, why aren't you going to, share your opinion? Why aren't you going to share that statement? Why aren't you going to share that question? Literally, why? So there was a lot of questions in myself of why, babe? Why are we sitting silently in a moment when we authentically want to share? And authentically just meaning doing the thing that seems a little bit, what's the word? Reactionary, or like, when you go to the doctor and they hit your knee, reflex, like doing the thing that like is almost instinctual, and like the thing that first comes to mind and is like a reflex. That's your authenticity. Doing the thing that's a reflex. Sometimes, you could have been conditioned into doing a reflex. And I certainly had been conditioned in to being quiet, not asking questions, and, just being shy. But anyways, so that's how I started to heal my fear of being seen. Also started healing my fear of being seen by looking in the mirror, looking at myself, seeing, quite literally seeing myself. And showing up for yourself is the thing that comes first before you can show up and be seen with others. So a friend asked me a few weeks back, like, how do I start to begin to, get comfortable being seen? I asked her, do you have a lot of mirrors in your home? And she was like, no. And then I, further asked her, well, how often do you look in the mirror? And she's like, not really often, just when she's getting ready, whatever. And that is an indicator that you have a fear of being seen. And I told her the thing that I did was I used to have I love you on every single mirror I owned. Now, I'm a mirrors girl, okay? I know my outfits be cute and I want to see them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 mirrors in my house. I'm literally one person in a 1-bedroom, 700 square foot apartment, y'all. Like, why do I have 7 mirrors in my house? That's neither here nor there. But I have 7 mirrors in my house, and I used to have a little less, but I was quite used to looking at, like, seeing my reflection. Not necessarily looking at myself. I was quite used to seeing my reflection, but averting my eyes, basically. And so at one point, a few years ago, I wrote, I love you on all of my mirrors. And it was a very interesting experiment, because when I wrote it, I was like, every time I look at that mirror, I'm going to have to say, I love you. I'm going to have to look at that and say, I love you to myself, because that's who I'm looking at. And so I would realize, if I looked in the mirror and looked away too quick, why am I afraid to say I love you to myself? Why am I afraid to see myself? Why am I afraid to be here with myself? So that is where I also started healing my relationship with being seen, being able to see myself. And if you can't see yourself, you better believe that you're not going to allow others to see you. You better believe that you're not going to allow people on the internet to see you. You better believe you're not going to allow your friends to see you. You're not going to allow your family members, your coworkers, your friend group, your network, whatever, to go out and see you as well. I also started to heal my fear of being seen by asking questions. I had a big thing where I wouldn't ask any questions. I wouldn't ask questions because I didn't want people to think oh, that was stupid, or oh, she doesn't know. And so in a lot of spaces, I just started to ask questions. I would go to the store and I would ask the register person, the store clerk person, something very simple. I would be in a group setting and I would ask something very simple. And so it was things like that started making me aware of 1, how many questions I did have, and 2, how often I was holding back on what I really wanted to say or ask or, whatever. Another thing that really helped me with the fear of being seen was to show up and not reject myself before someone else had the chance to do so, if that makes sense. So what that looked like was, if I was filming a TikTok or YouTube video, I think we often have the ability, and not we have the ability, but we often reject ourselves before someone else can reject us. And so in an internet space, that looks like you over analyzing your post, whether that's a post you're putting on Instagram, whether that's a new video you're posting on Facebook or on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever. I had to stop reflecting on my post. Oh, why does it look like this? Oh, the color isn't right. Oh, I didn't say it like this. Oh, I kind of stuttered. Oh, I said too much. Oh, I should have started it like this, or I should have arranged my background like this, whatever. And so when I started realizing I'm over analyzing things, that's another big indicator that you have a fear of being seen. If you over analyze your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors, you most likely have a fear of being seen. I was analyzation queen. Girl, don't even get me started. I was analyzation queen for everything I did, my every action, my every behavior. I had to analyze the heck out of it. So in social media, I stopped doing that. I stopped analyzing my post. And when I say analyzing, I just mean I stopped looking at the very minute details and saying, oh, I should have did it like this. I should have did it like this. Oh, I need to redo it. Oh, it needs to look like this. And when I stopped doing that, guess what? One, no one came for me. No one has ever told me, you should have did your video like this. Your TikTok should have looked like this. Your post should have looked like this. Like, this would have been better, for one. And guess what? People liked it. People watched it. It got views, and life moved on. And so as I just began to constantly do that with social media, it also became easier to stop over analyzing in my day-to-day life. Instead of analyzing like, oh my gosh, like, does this outfit look good on me? How do I look in this? And let's say it was a kind of an out there type of outfit, out of my status quo. I'm trying a new style. I'm trying something new with my image. So it's new for me, and it's going to be new for the people who are genuinely used to seeing me every day too. But the fear of being seen would creep in with, oh, I'm just going to wear something I usually wear. And so overcoming that for me looked like, instead of over analyzing it, I would just say, it works for my body type. It's balanced. Cool, let's go. And so instead of saying, oh, this isn't something I've worn before. What are they going to think? How am I going to look? How am I going to walk? What if it does this? What if it does that? Like, girl, no. And when I learned to stop analyzing, as I've learned to stop analyzing, because as someone who spent numerous years being an overanalyzer, you don't just snap out of that in a day. You don't just snap out of that. You don't just snap out of that even in a few months. And so I don't sit here to say as well, like, how did I overcome my fear of being seen? I don't have any fear of being seen anymore. Girl, the fear of being seen, for women especially, I believe, is something that you are always going to battle with. Fear of being seen is something that isn't just going to go away, and you'll never have to deal with feeling like, oh, I don't have any issues being seen. Because society tells women what they need to be, who they need to be, how they need to act. And yes, I'm great at ignoring it at this point. I can go and stand up and do whatever I want to do in my authenticity, how I want to do it, knowing that it is very authentic for me, it works for me, it's good for me. However, the media noise, the noise from society is still there of saying who I should be, how I should act, where I should go, when I should do this at this point in my life. I can tune it out. I can turn the volume all the way down. But you know, when you like turn the volume down, you can still hear the little like background noise. So there's still background noise there. You just become more attuned to not paying attention to the background noise, but sometimes honestly, it's still going to pop up. So this also isn't to say like, I'm never going to have a fear of being seen again. I can go out and do anything, anytime I want, and show up, you know, very authentically anytime I want. I can, but do I? You know, that's something that also I don't believe I was prepared for. I have become more comfortable with being seen by myself. I allowed others to see me. So I could go out into the world, I could ask my questions, I could wear the outfits that were outside of my own status quo, I could share my opinions without the hesitation of, oh my gosh, someone else maybe isn't going to share the same opinion, or my opinion is so different, it's so out there. My opinion is so different, it is so out there. And guess what? I don't care. Because I don't have the fear of someone saying, well, that's not right. Well, that's not, correct. As I've healed my relationship with being seen, I've been able to show up more consistently. And you may not always have this consistent line of, it's not going to be this one moment of, I've healed being seen. I can be seen all the time now. I can express myself to the full capacity all the time now. There were moments where I would have these sprints of being really great at being seen, showing up in all the spaces and all the areas on all the levels to fullness. And then I would plummet towards actually, I'm going to stay in my house for 5 days by myself, talk to myself, and be by myself and be with myself. And it became almost like a roller coaster of like, oh, well, now I'm not allowing myself to be seen, go push yourself to be seen. Oh, then I would plummet, and then I had to go be seen again. And so I started to learn that you also have to balance your fullness of expression, your ability to be seen, with who you are authentically and what works for you. Because I think the world can often make us believe that we should be seen, especially in today's climate and society of the internet and social media, where it can seem like, oh, everyone's showing themselves, everyone's being themselves, everyone's showing up. Yes, but also there's a limit to that. I can only show up with others and be seen in my full expression of self with others about 4 out of 7 days of the week. Now, I could be seen by myself every single day of the week, 7 days a week. I'm very comfortable with me. I allow myself to live in the fullness of my expression, clearly with myself. And that's just me. Some people can 7 days out of 7 days of the week show up in their fullness of expression with themselves, with others, and that works for them. But you have to also learn what works for you, and that's only going to come by trial and error. So it is a trial and error. There's not a one size fits all. You have to go out and just say, where am I holding back who I authentically want to be? How can I show up more of who I authentically know that I am, feel that I am? Because sometimes you may think you're a certain way, but you're not actually that certain way until you try it and say, actually, I don't like that girl. I don't want to do that again. I won't be doing that again. Like, absolutely not. On the other side of your fear of being seen is a world of possibilities. There's a world that you have not yet explored. And I'm telling you, it is so fun to explore that world of allowing yourself to be in your full expression of self, full expression of thought, full expression of style, full expression of feeling and emotions and self. And it is just, it's so beautiful. It's so graceful. It's messy. It's dirty. It can get gritty. It's so beautiful. And if you are having trouble being seen, start to allow yourself and start to ask yourself, what can I do today to show up more as my fullest expression of self? Maybe you just look in the mirror a few more times than you usually do. Maybe you wear that lipstick that you bought but have never worn because it's out of your status quo. Maybe you wear that outfit that you keep saying you really want to wear, but you don't have the right place to wear it to yet. And it's not really that you don't have the right place to wear it to. It's just that you're actually afraid to wear it because it's, again, out of your status quo. Maybe you go to work and ask that question that you have been wanting to ask, but you don't want to share. Maybe you share your opinion with the friend that you've kind of been holding back on, but you realize it's way different from what their opinion might be. That's what you can do today to help yourself begin to heal your fear of being seen, overcome your fear of being seen, because it is so beautiful on the other side of that. Yes, I still struggle some days with being seen. Some days I'm not consistent with showing up for myself. I'm not consistent with showing up with others. I go and hide in my house for 5 days straight just because it's a little overwhelming being seen. It's a little overwhelming being seen. I'll be for real. It could be a lot sometimes. However, I also have enough experience now of allowing myself to be seen, of being in the fullness of my self-expression, of my emotions, of my feelings, of my thoughts, of my opinions, that I know if I don't pick myself back up and allow myself to be seen again, I'm going to be sad for the rest of my life. I spent like 29 years just about of my life not allowing my life to be seen. And I was so sad, y'all. I was so sad. I was so depressed. I never felt fulfilled. And a lot of people think that fulfillment is going to come from maybe a relationship or an achievement or a job or, a friend group or a thing that you do or a place that you go. Fulfillment comes from allowing yourself to be expressed, allowing the fullness of your self-expression to come out to the world, be seen by the world, be experienced by the world. That's where fulfillment comes from. So I hope that you have the opportunity to experience that. Let me know in the comments what you're going to be doing to begin to heal your fear of being seen. As always, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.